And we had this lovely space, this 30 minutes to come into a place of stillness. You might want to close your eyes, or you might just want to lower your gaze downwards. I think important to remember before we start that in the grand scheme of things, none of this is very important. Nothing that we do with our life is very important. We're just a little speck of dust, a little speck of starlight, floating around in a great cosmic soup of love. And so we don't need to take this too seriously. There's no need to frown. There's no need to think you're getting it wrong. There's no need for berating yourself. It's just a curiosity. I wonder how it will feel to practice Tonglen today. And Tonglen translates as giving and receiving. And so we're experimenting and exploring the full spectrum of feeling. Our limbic brain gives us this huge range of emotions and feelings. This chemistry inside of us. And so we're starting to work with that chemistry because it's such an amazing organ, the brain. It not only does it shape the way we perceive and see and interpret the world, but we shape the way the brain sees and interprets and responds to the world. So it's a very two-way communication. We can actively steer the neurons in directions with our thoughts. We're not just passive. That's just such a powerful truth, isn't it? So let's begin by taking right ear down to right shoulder. And dropping chin to chest. And left ear to left shoulder. And coming up and over. How's the neck feeling this morning? And what about if you switch directions? Finding your way back to neutral, circling your shoulders. And then when you're ready, maybe circling your elbows. It's a very different feeling. Maybe even full arm extensions, which the diaphragm loves, your breath will love. Deep inhale as the arms come up, and deep exhale as the arms come down. And then resting your hands on your knees, circling your heart. You can choose actually, you can either circle, depends how you're sitting. For some people, sitting in a position might not be so comfortable to circle, in which case you can just move forwards and back. Either way, it's the heart that's leading. And then coming to center. So quite a nice way to lay your hands is to have one palm on top of the other in your lap. And let's begin by focusing in on our breath. And a very interesting book that I've just read, written by a neurosurgeon, makes a really important point. He talks about the physical brain and how someone who is excellent in their field, really highly achieved, it isn't that that part of their brain is highly developed, somehow superior to other people's. It is the fact that they are better able to drop the other stuff. So they are better able to see the distractions and let them go. So it's not more of one thing, it's less of everything that enables someone to be excellent in their field. I think that's really interesting, especially in the light of the role of women in our culture and our multitasking. Our capacity to drop the distraction is usually, oftentimes, much less because of our place at the centre of caregiving. So perhaps for us it's even more important to understand about coming into the breath and letting everything else drop away. Noticing the in-breath, noticing the out-breath, how that feels as it moves in and out through your nostrils. Gently pressing the tongue up into the roof of your mouth. Tuning into the sounds around you. And then bringing your sense of hearing back in closer so you can hear the sound of your breath. So a Tonglen practice cultivates our ability to feel compassion, to empathize, and to recognize that we are never alone in our personal emotional landscape. Other people's stories may be very different, but the spectrum of emotion, of feeling, is across all humanity. And since we are all part of this great big soup of love, without division, without separation, as we work to offer, to extend emotions to others, it can't help but come back our way. And as we reap the benefit of our practice, we offer it up to all beings. Let's start by exploring the feeling of openness and closedness. And we're just going to do this within ourselves to begin with. So breathing in, we're going to explore how it feels to be closed, shut down, small, restricted. And as we breathe out, explore the emotions of openness and spaciousness, freedom, expansiveness. Breathing in the closed, breathing out the open. And then we're going to move to a place where compassion naturally arises, someone for whom we care deeply. And we're going to breathe in their closedness too. Graciously going to take it into ourselves. And as we exhale, we're going to offer our spaciousness over to them so that they can feel it too. You don't need to hold on tightly to the practice. You can just trust this gentle, gracious process of breathing in and breathing out. And we'll take the practice to someone neutral, someone who we see regularly, but we maybe don't know their backstory. Perhaps it's the fellow behind the counter at the baker's, or the person on reception in your office. And as you breathe in, generously you receive their closeness, their feeling of being closed. And as you exhale, send out a gift to them, your feeling of openness. Like a thread or a ribbon of emotion moving between you. And you're gladly receiving theirs, taking their load, removing the burden of their closeness, and generously offering the gift of your openness to them. And then bringing the practice to someone whom you find tricky. I often call them the master teachers. The people that agreed to come here in this life to push all your buttons, to show you your shadow, and to give you the opportunity to learn and grow. Doesn't mean you like them. And as you breathe in, you take from them, with love, their feeling of being closed. And as you exhale, offering up the gift of your openness, your spaciousness. And then opening the practice up to reflect on all sentient beings, feeling the same closeness that you experience. Their stories will be as varied as the number of humans on the planet. But the feeling is the same. So opening up, giving yourself the ability to breathe in their closeness, all living beings. And exhaling the gift of openness from you to them. Noticing how your heart opens, softens, and expands to allow this process to happen. And let go of the Tonglen practice and just breathe into that heart space. Allow it to continue to expand. And like throwing pennies into the well, we can start to throw some reflections of gratitude into our heart. Things that you're thankful for. and offering up the fruit of our practice to all beings as we practice individually. We know that we are practicing collectively. Bringing hands to heart, dropping chin to chest. And offering up our simple prayer. The love inside of me sees the love inside of us all. Thank you for coming today.